Hi, I'm Nick, and this is my player development project.
Good evening, Larry.
Good evening, Nick.
So, what are you doing on this player development?
So I am aiming to improve my game to beat Stu McKenzie at Putney Lawn Tennis Club, who is a former over 15s champion,
Okay.
and also in the future aim to get into a team at this club. So
This is my first part of match charting. I filmed Larry playing over 2 sets. This allowed me to track the score, his first and second serves, and which shots he played. It allowed me to record if his last shot was a winner or unforced error. From this, I could go back to the video, look more closely at the game situation and his shot intention. Also get an idea how tactically we could improve his game. Here you can see they are both back situation. McKenzie neutralises serve nicely. And Larry, to be fair, hits a beautiful deep forehand. McKenzie was building in the point, putting pressure on his backhand again. And finally, McKenzie changes the ball characteristics with a slice side spin shot into Larry's backhand, which finally results in the unforced error. The main area I wanted to work on was consistency with the backhand in a both back situation, working on height and depth. In the match, Larry hits 16 balls into net. Once we can do this, my main tactic will be controlling space. In the match, McKenzie realised very early on Larry's backhand was weak and, of course, pummeled his backhand. Larry puts in a solid first serve. Again, McKenzie neutralises the return of serve, again deep to the backhand, and without any pressure in the rally, he gets the unforced error. Larry, I've noticed, is hitting a very flat ball without any height over the net or topspin, and that's why so many of the balls are going into the net. We need to address the path of the racket. Ultimately, I want consistency, and how I'm going to achieve this is with height and depth. I also took a closer look in on his backhand and I slowed it right down. And here I can see the path of the racket and what I'm going to have to do on the technical front of things, as well as with the tactical, and link the both together. And with my observational analysis, when we do some on court work, we'll go deeper into this. If we look at the stats, it's glaringly obvious what shot is the problem. 50% of his shots on his backhand result in the lost points. The stats on his forehand are fairly okay. There's 36% unforced errors, 17.5% winners. We can improve that a little bit, but the main area I'm going to focus on, of course, has to be the backhand. Larry's serve percentage was solid throughout the match. While observing the match, he was good at changing the areas he attacked, varying from the tee serve and to wide on the ad and juice side. So I was quite impressed with the overall package of his serve.
I make that shot, should I? No, just carry on how you do. Okay. How I would.
So with the observational analysis, I decided to serve because then it gives the variation. It's going to be one on the forehand, one on the backhand. He doesn't actually know, and therefore you get a better sort of read of where he's going wrong tactically. Like he's putting a lot in the net. There's no depth on the backhand, and then technically from that I can look at where it's going wrong. So you can see the path of the racket. He just comes across himself, across the chest, and he doesn't actually finish anywhere over the shoulder of the racket. And ideally, I want to be getting him to get the racket back high, drop it down with the wrist, and then come up, accelerating with the left hand, and finishing with it over the shoulder. And if he would do this, he would achieve the height over the net, nice depth, and then the key I want to work on is goal 2 is controlling space. And so if we get goal 1 right, then we can move to goal 2.
As you know, I'm a single-hander, so try and do them as well as I can. Here we go. See how high that's going over the net. Do one more. Here we go. Up and over. And go for even more depth. There. That's the one. Straight in, and that's going to push the opponent back. So why are we going for depth like that? Brilliant. That's it. So if you push him out wide like that, then likelihood he's going to put maybe a short ball here. You've got the open space there. Okay. So do you mind just shadowing what I just showed you there? Excellent. One more time. Fantastic. Okay. Just try a few in. See if you've got that going.
So here I looked at his game and then did a negative demonstration of what he's doing with the racket path. He's coming across and then across here, and therefore he's hitting a very flat ball. And from that, he's not getting any height or topspin on the ball and gets a lot of unforced errors. So I explained to him what we need to do is take the racket back high, drop down with the wrist, and then accelerate up the ball with the left and finish the racket over the shoulder. This will give us more consistency. And consistency is the number one thing I want to work on his game. By doing this, we'll get height over the net. It'll give us depth. And then we can bring it forward and control space. And as you can see, my demonstration, I really emphasize the height. And therefore he understands now if we get the height over the net, we don't get those unforced errors. And then later on, we can move it on to controlling space.
Okay, now what we're going to work on is what are you doing skill before doing skill with your back. So I'm going to feed it into your forehand, yeah, and then you're going to hit it to me, I'm going to hit it into your backhand. Ideally, I want you controlling space and time, yeah, pushing me out wide, and therefore the likelihood is you'll get the shot ball. Right. How are you going to achieve control of the space? Yeah. I'm going to hit a deep backhand to your backhand with shot, and hopefully you hit it short right straight away. Half off. Right. That's what we wanted to do against Mackenzie in the match. Serious priority, and then we go to control of space and time. Yeah. You still push me back really well, okay? Don't be disappointed in that. Now you know more, you've got more tactical sense. You flipped it on its head. Instead of getting the space and hitting it there, create the space the other way. But because you have now the consistency on your forehand, on your backhand, you can go either way. When you become that, you become the complete player. Okay? Just long as the wind is hard. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Well done. Okay. Concentrate. Sorry, that's bad feed. Actually, stop it. That's perfect.
So here I wanted to work on process 2, controlling space. He had to do a skill before the skill. So I'd hit one into his forehand, he would return it back to me, I'd hit it to his backhand, and he would have to now control space and time. and he would go for the deeper ball to me. And if I put the short ball, he would finish it with the forehand. And as you see that it plays out, his backhand is now not breaking. He feels very confident on this shot now. So I started match charting the way I did earlier, and it allowed me to follow the match quite easily. And then I could see where he was hitting forehands, backhands, or slice backhand. And then I could just make notes where his backhand was creating space, uh, where he was controlling points. I made notes of that, and it was like watching almost a different player from the match at the beginning, or the first match, sorry, and to this match. Mackenzie didn't really have answers to his game because he had depth on both sides. He knew how to control the space, and when that short ball did appear, he took it on and finished it quite easily because he pushed him out so wide. He wasn't actually taking any risks. It was just pushed, hit a nice forehand or backhand into space, and he was quite comfortable overall doing that now. So match clip 1, you can see as it plays out, Larry uses the tactic of consistency, of course, which we've been working on throughout the coaching. And then the balls he hits have great height and depth, and it's pushing Mackenzie back. And then he hits another one onto his backhand, the third backhand, because of the practice and the confidence in how he actually has in the backhand. He hits a beautiful backhand winner down the line. I feel here I don't actually need to say much. Watching the clip itself tells you everything what he's learned with tactically. Both sides, he's controlling space and wins the point with an outright winner with a forehand. I do enjoy this clip because Larry now understands the weapon of height and depth and pushing the opponent back. You don't always have to hit the outright winner. You will get unforced errors by just pushing the opponent back. And as it happens in this clip, you can see it quite clearly. It produces the unforced error by Mackenzie. Here you can also see the swing path of Larry's racket. He always takes it low now and goes high, which is always going to give him that depth that we're looking for. And you can quite clearly see that in the clips here. I really do enjoy this point. You can see Larry controlling space with Mackenzie. He's pushing him left, then he pushes him right, then again left to open up the space. And the Larry of old would have tried too early to try and get that winning shot, and he doesn't actually get the winning shot. He forces Mackenzie to an unforced error, and which is exactly what we wanted. Consistency invariably gets you the winning point as well.